I want to first of all give a shout out to my daughter Tara. This conversation was inspired by a discussion we had about the challenge of being a moral person. And I think a lot about that idea of the moral compass and the moral person. And as a conscious leader, there's always a question about this idea of morality and appropriate behavior. And, taking care of people, taking care of the planet, taking care of the business. All these things are, at some level or another, are moral questions. And the issue is, where is the direction pointing for your moral compass? And how can we have a better, more effective moral compass at our disposal? So, most of us, our idea of morality is infused morality. It comes from what a friend of mine calls mother, father, church, and state. Right? There are the rules that we learned when we were at home. There are the 10 commandments, or the 613 commandments, or the hundreds of different, church religious commandments that govern us. And there's the state, the city, the federal laws that govern us. And so what's common to all those moral imperatives is that they're imposed on us, right? That's really what it's there for. It's imposed on us for what reason? So that we can somehow have our id, our impulsive self, be governed by our superego, right? The higher self that is more conscientious and more established in society. We're basically trying to minimize the damage we're causing to ourselves and others. Basically, there's kind of a little angel and a little devil, and they're going at war. And our morality is to hopefully get the little angel to be more powerful than the little devil. Man, that's exhausting. It's life as we know it, and it's phenomenally exhausting. And when we falter, which I do, you do, we do, then we feel guilt and we feel shame and we're frustrated and we either abandon it and go crazy, or we, dial down more, sort of bear down more intensely and be more disciplined in our morality. The problem is that this is an externally focused moral compass. Mother, father, church, and state. It's outside, 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 outside. So what's the alternative? Is there an alternative? There is something that we can do to add to that. And that is to move the moral compass inward. That is the point of what it means to raise consciousness. Whether you're raising your consciousness through religious practice, or meditation practice, or yoga practice, or whatever practices there are, raising consciousness fundamentally with every tradition, in every aspect of every human endeavor, raising consciousness has come back to a singular idea: oneness, union. The word religion, the English word religion is from Latin religare. Literally it means to bind, to connect. The word yoga, in the Sanskrit, yoga, is where we get the English word yoke. It means to bind, to connect, to hold together. Yoke is what you connect the oxen to the cart. It's connection. Samadhi, which is the highest meditation in the yogic tradition, in the Buddhist tradition, samadhi means to bring together. You see where I'm going with this? The point of spiritual practices, of consciousness practices, is to arrive at unity, at union, at oneness. Oneness of what? And how does this relate to moral compass? It relates in the very following way. When I understand that everything is interconnected, that's a very different moral orientation than having to do right because someone else told me. Putting it differently, I am not my brother's keeper is an important construct. But if we add to that, I am my brother, we understand interconnectedness. At the fundamental level of religion and spirituality, of consciousness and conscious leadership, is this idea of having a first-hand experience of the interconnectedness of all life, the unity of all beings. From that place, how can I be mean to you? How can I be inconsiderate to you? How can I be hurtful to you? If you and I are connected, if I fundamentally recognize, experientially embodied the sense of interconnected oneness and unity, I don't need God or the church or the government to tell me to behave in a certain way. I will feel into that behavior because it's the natural way of honoring the interconnectedness of all things. So my invitation to you as a conscious leader, of course, abide by the rules and laws, but cultivate this sense of wonder and awe and an embodied understanding of the interconnectedness of all life. When you move your moral compass inward, embody and experience the oneness of all things, it is not a struggle to do the right thing. Because the right thing for anyone else is the same thing as the right thing for you. So, pray, meditate, yoga, walk on the beach, whatever it means to you, to feel into the experience of oneness so that you can lead from that place. Good luck on the journey.